Ken and I got married in April of 2010.
And it was fantastic.
We had a very good relationship in the very beginning. We were best friends. And it kind of started to get very tense pretty quickly.
Part of the biggest struggle that I had was alcohol. I'd come home and 5 o'clock, I'd open a beer. I would drink beer after beer after beer after beer until it was bedtime. I was a miserable person. I hated who I was inside. That was my escape.
I had kind of spiraled into a really deep depression. I had a lot of migraines, and I started to abuse prescription drugs.
My aggressions that I had at work and at home, they never stopped. I took them out on her 24 hours a day.
He was getting more and more irritated with me, and I couldn't handle the stress. So what I ended up doing was I had an affair.
It was by far the hardest thing I'd ever had to swallow.
He and I separated, and we filed for divorce.
I wanted to drown myself in self-pity, and God wouldn't let it. He pulled me up and said, "You're not doing this. You're gonna be fine." And that next day I came home and I threw every bit of alcohol away, every bit of it.
After hearing one of Tracy's sermons one day, I finally just hit my knees and said, "Okay, I'm giving you my heart because I know you're the only one that's not gonna break it. What do you want me to do?" Even though I was scared that he wouldn't want me back after everything that I had done, I was already forgiven for it. And I had to learn how to forgive myself.
This church is what brought us back together. God pushed us here. We came here separately from each other, not together. The first time I met Pastor Tracy, she invited me to the men's group that Thursday night, and it changed my life. You know, between my experience that I had with God, throwing the alcohol away, and then coming to church, I was changed completely.
I was taking a lot of pain pills around the clock, and I quit them all in one day, cold turkey. And to be honest with you, something like that, I should have put myself in the hospital. And he had just told me, he said, I can help you do this, just believe me. And anytime I would get a little side effect, I would just throw it right back to the pit of hell where it came from, and it was gone. You can do anything with God's help, anything. And I don't have any pain today. I don't have the problems that I had with focusing, and it's just incredible.
And it was like God was working on both of us at the same time, but I didn't know he was working on her, and she didn't know he was working on me. And, you know, I finally started to realize that we do this to each other. My wife didn't do this to me. You know, she had an affair because I drove her away. I stopped taking care of her. I stopped respecting her. I stopped treating her like a wife.
There was a day coming into church. He came to the 9 o'clock service. I came to the 11 o'clock.
And one day I was walking out. She was walking in.
He was holding our daughter. And God just told me, he said, invite him in.
Of course I said yes, you know.
Things just started to happen between us, and it was not easy at all. It was hard to trust him, but I trusted God.
So 2 days before Thanksgiving, we moved back in with each other. And then for Christmas, our gift to us and our family was to throw out our divorce papers. We were mean to each other, and we only cared about ourselves. And now we spend all of our time together, whereas before we didn't spend any time together. And we still have issues. I mean, we're married, but we bring them to God. We pray over them. We can fix them so much easier now.
Because we listened to what God had to say. He healed our marriage, and if he can fix us,
He can fix anything.
He can do anything.